So let's get started, the message of the day. So just a reminder for those of you who are new, Kabbalah is universal wisdom. Whatever you've heard, whatever you've been told, let's just clear the slate and make it simple. The same way this building has a blueprint, and the blueprint doesn't belong to any group or anyone in particular. It's just simply the objective blueprint of this building. So you can find everything in it. You can find where the electrical system is. You can find where the air conditioning ducts are, all those different things. And it is available and accessible to everybody, right? If you want to know something about the building, you look on the blueprint and there it is. So Kabbalah is just a blueprint of the universe. If there's a blueprint physically for a building or for schematics for our cell phones or for any of these electronics, there has to also be a schematic or a blueprint for the universe. And that's what Kabbalah is, and that's why it is universal, and that's why we have people of all nationalities, of all races, of all cultures, of all backgrounds who are learning with us. Now, what's the purpose of that? Just to give us rules and regulations how to live? No. Kabbalah for sure is not about morals and ethics. And before you jump the gun, I want to explain that. Okay, good. You didn't jump, I see. All right, that's good. So let's take something simple called the Ten Commandments, because we can kind of understand those to be universal laws. Whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, we could all say, yes, those will apply to everybody, right? Yes or yes? Yes. Okay, so the new people get an idea of how much free choice you have here. Okay, great. So now, then what's the purpose of these things called the Ten Commandments? Well, number one, just that you'll understand, and those who've been with us for a while, you have a little bit more understanding. The Ten Commandments are not Ten Commandments. The Bible doesn't use the word commandments in its original language of Hebrew and Aramaic. What they are called in direct translation, 10 sayings, 10 utterances. So let me ask you, have you ever given advice to a friend? Yes or yes? We've all given advice, right? Now, have you ever given advice that you felt from the bottom of your heart is the right thing or a good thing for that person to do? Yes. Exactly. So then what the 10 utterances are, the 10 sayings are simply that. They're giving us the understanding of what's good for us to do or what's bad for us to do. Us, not the other people. And that's why it can be something like morals and ethics, but they're not morals and ethics. I mean, open up any electronic device instruction manual that you buy. Right on the front page it'll tell you, don't open up the back, don't work on this, because there's a possible electric shock. Could cause damage or, heaven forbid, even kill people. You ever seen that? Yes. So now, is that a commandment from God? Thou shalt not fool with this electronic device. It may be a command from whoever you bought it from, but what is it really saying? It's saying, look, it's dangerous to the user if you try and mess with the electronics. So it's giving advice that's beneficial or detrimental. If you fool with it, then be aware there could be some negative consequence. So the 10 utterances are similar. Give you a couple of them before we get to the specific one for here. The first one is, I am God. So okay, great, I am God. What does that have to do with us? In Kabbalistic terms, it's telling us a very valuable, important lesson. There's only one source of energy, one source of blessing. You can call it God, we call it the light force, you can call it the Creator, you can call it whatever name you want to give it. But that's what it's telling us. It's to our advantage to understand there's one source of all the blessings we could ever imagine having. One source. So if you're looking in 2 or 3 sources for it, then what's going to happen? You're not going to get it. There's going to be some form of disconnect, some form of detriment to the person. You have another one. Thou shalt not steal. That's the English translation. It doesn't say you can't steal. Obviously, my teachers, Rav and Karen Berg, they used to say, look, the 10 Commandments are about 4,000 years old. And if it says, thou shalt not steal, then how come people are still stealing? So it doesn't say you can't steal. What it's really saying is a person who steals, the thief who steals, is going to end up losing out. It's disadvantageous to the thief to steal. Because why? They're going against the laws of the universe. It's like putting your finger in the electric socket. That's not the way electricity is supposed to be used, but it can be used that way. Because we have free will. So then the one that's pertinent today is thou shalt, or don't covet. Don't covet. Don't be envious and jealous of other people. Why? Now you're getting a better sense. It's not about the other person as much as it's about the person who has the jealousy. The jealousy causes difficulty for the one who's jealous. I'll just tell you right now, Rav Berg used to say, it's the stupidest negative behavior. Because what do you get for it? Nothing but bad feelings. He would say, at least don't steal. We're not suggesting to steal, but at least in temporary level, a thief who steals a stereo walks away with a stereo. So long term, yes, it's not going to serve them, it's not going to bring them blessing, but at least initially they walk away with a stereo for some temporary time. But when a person is jealous, what do they walk away with? Just bad feelings. They don't gain anything, and the other person doesn't gain anything. So that's why he says it's the stupidest thing we could do. Because it's detrimental right away. Right away. So we have to start, and we're going to work to counteract our jealousy or protect ourselves from other people's jealousy. So we've got to go back, as we always talk about, God, the Creator. The Creator is full. The Creator is totally satiated with blessings, with light, with peace, with harmony, all the good things we could imagine. And when the Creator created us, as it says in that image and likeness, what is it really saying? We have a piece of that fullness. We have the capabilities that the Creator has, but we also have the same fullness. So Kabbalistically then, we've already received. See? God calling, yes, He's right. We've already received all the blessings we could ever imagine. It's already in our soul. The spiritual work is to let it be manifest. It's not to get. It's to understand we already have. So then our work is just to manifest those blessings, but not to go get them. Because the Creator loves us and gave us everything. What could the Creator do? If the Creator is full, how can the Creator create lack? Can't. Can only create fullness. So we have that fullness now. And as you come to understand that, then we realize the work is to express that fullness, to manifest that fullness. So then what will we do? If I understand I've got it, and I'm just looking for it on the outside, then I will seek my good by sharing. A person who doesn't hold that consciousness, that doesn't believe they already have it, but feels the lack of having it manifest, as we all do in some way, they will be driven to go take. If you know you have it and you're feeling the lack because we don't see the 100% outside of us, then you and I are learning how to go manifest that good by sharing. It doesn't mean we don't feel the lack or see the lack, but it means we know that we already have it. You ever seen paint by numbers? You buy paint by numbers, you take out the canvas, it's already drawn on there. The outline is there and the instructions, number 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever number of paints there are. So then our job is not to create the picture. Our job is to manifest what's already there. Take the paint, number 1, and put it in all the spots where number 1 shows on that canvas. So our job is to make the picture manifest. We didn't create it, we're manifesting it. Similarly, then, with the good the Creator gave us, our job is to manifest it also. So where do you do it? The empty spots. Think about it. Where you're already full, you're full. Where you see an emptiness, maybe in business, maybe at home, maybe there's difficulty in health or something. Where you see that emptiness, it's like that space, the empty space on the paint by number canvas. Go fill it in. How do you fill it in? The way that we affirm every week. Love, kindness, compassion, generosity, tolerance, forgiveness, etc. Act God-like. Share your light in those empty spaces and they will become full. People who don't realize that, they're seeking to draw from, to receive or to get. Well, if you look at that canvas and it's empty, what can you get from it? You can't even really get the full enjoyment of that picture because it's not yet manifest. So now, how does jealousy get started? Kind of getting the hint here. First, it's to understand, I just want to go back a second. What's yours is yours. I want to make that very clear. What the Creator set out for each and every one of us is ours, and nobody can take it. The issue is, are we willing to persevere and do the spiritual work to allow it to show up for us or to come to us, because like will attract like. So when we've done our spiritual work and we've been growing in our sharing and our caring and our love and our compassion, forgiveness and tolerance, then things that belong to us will show up. There's a very powerful story in the Bible about that. Abraham and Sarah, the first couple that really went around the world to spread the light of what we would call Kabbalah. Reach out to people no matter who they were, to help them have an awareness of the light in them, the light all around them. And as we said, there's only one source of light, and we can all tap that source of light. So when Sarah died, Abraham was looking for a place to bury his wife. The Zohar, the Kabbalists explain, from creation, from the moment of creation, when all the good was set out, the place for Sarah to be buried, which is actually the entrance or the entrance to the Garden of Eden, called Machpelah, was set out for them. It's a place where if you go today, you can find them. Adam and Eve, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah. The four couples are buried there. It's the entrance to the Garden of Eden. So that was set in creation for Abraham and Sarah. But at the time that Sarah died, this land, where this entrance to the Garden of Eden, was owned by a man named Ephron. Now, if you read the story, Ephron, for him, it was just a piece of land. He was looking for maybe some value in it. He was looking maybe an investment, right? He's bought some land like some people have bought, and they're waiting 1 generation, 2 generations, 3 generations for anything to happen, right? So in his mind, it was worthless because he didn't own it. It wasn't his. So he was unable to see that it was the entrance to the Garden of Eden. Abraham, because it was his from creation, he was able to see it. So they were able to strike a deal where Ephron was happy. He was happy to give it away for 400 silver coins because that was the value he perceived. Abraham is getting the entrance to the Garden of Eden. What's yours is yours and no one can take it. When you're ready for it, it will show up. It will show up. So now understanding that, let's see, how does jealousy get started? So we said, we have 100% inside of us, but we don't see yet the 100% outside. It's going back to that paint by numbers as you're painting. Let's say there's 100 spots and you've painted 50 of them. Is the 100 there potentially? Yes. Is it there physically? No, you got 50, right? The other 50 are waiting for you to make manifest. So because you understand that, you just keep going. So if a person feels empty, they don't feel that they've got everything that they're supposed to have, if they don't feel it's already set out for them, but they feel the lack of that 50% or what be it, then what are they going to start doing? They're going to start looking around at everybody else. What have they got? Why are they getting? What are they doing? Where they go? How they got that thing? Why they buy that new car? What's going on? And all that negativity is going to go where? It's going to come right up from within. And where does it go? Right through the eyes. Because what's causing, or what's the thing that's bringing them that awareness? Their eyes. They feel the lack. They look at what somebody else has or what somebody else is doing. And that negative energy, which we understand in the 21st century, thoughts are energy. That negative thought goes right out their eye and it zaps the person and or the object that they're looking at. That's why it's traditionally called evil eye. And don't tell me it's superstition, because it's kind of interesting. Every culture I've ever come across in 30 years in the center has something called evil eye. They call it different things, they use different things, but in essence that's it. Something about evil eye. Why? Now we're understanding. Because feeling the lack and then seeing something that they think will bring them the good, that's the evil eye. You and I are learning, especially today, if you don't see something on the outside, you already have it. Go paint it. Go make it manifest. Go share. So when you're feeling you already have, when you feel that it's already yours and your good is there waiting for you, then you're not looking at everybody else. You're not looking at what they have and why they've got and where they are now. Why? All you have to do is keep moving in your path and you'll encounter everything. You don't need theirs because theirs is not going to suit you. How many things have you ever bought or obtained that you thought would make you happy, that was great maybe for a week, a month, 6 months, a year, and then all of a sudden it turned the opposite? Now you didn't like it, now it was terrible, now it even maybe caused you some trouble. But initially you thought that was for you. Now you get the idea. Don't seek after what doesn't belong to you because the Creator already gave you everything that's yours. So then beginning to feel the fullness within makes it easier not to be jealous about what other people have, but to be happy for their good and to keep going to find yours, to encounter yours along the way. That's where we've got to go. Be happy, knowing that yours is yours and nobody can take it. It's another story in the Bible. There was a man, his name is Bilam. And I'll just tell you the story. You can take it how you want to take it. They say he was a sorcerer. Now, what was a sorcerer? So think about it now, our terms. A sorcerer. You ever taken an X-ray? Yes. Now imagine taking that X-ray machine back about 2,000 or 3,000 years. You have this, this black cone, and you're facing it at somebody, and you say, zzz, you make a noise, and the next thing you see, here's a piece of paper, or we call it film, with a picture of the person's bone, their teeth, or something. If you were 2,000 years ago and you saw that, what would you say about the person with the X-ray machine? Sorcerer! A witch, a warlock, something. But understanding the technology, we don't think that way. We understand it's X-ray, it's technology, it's a machine, invisible energy, etc. So then in the same way, Bilam understood that idea of cursing people with the eye, looking, because there are people, sadly, who intentionally look badly at other people. Most of us, it's unintentional. Maybe the moment your car is not starting or not driving properly, and you see a brand new car drive down the street past you, don't tell me that you don't have a microsecond of jealousy. Oh, if I only had a car like that. It's not intentional, but it's just normal. It's a natural human thing. Or, you're working hard in a job and suddenly you've come to this point where you're not so sure you want to stay, you want to go, it's not making you happy as much, and you hear a friend, a good friend, just got a promotion. Same thing. As much as you love the person, there's going to be that one moment where for a second you're like, oh, I'd like to have a new job, or I'd like to get a promotion too. And what happens? There's little sparks of that energy called jealousy that flies out of us. It's not intentional, it's not directed, it's a natural thing. So we're going to talk at the end how we prevent that and how we can be protected. But I just want you to get the idea that it's not always intentional. Yes, there are people who really have that true evil eye, and they're just thinking bad, and they just want to look like that. And why? Now we understand it all the more. Why would somebody intentionally, like Bilam, why would he want to send curses to the Israelites? Because he felt lack. He felt he was missing something. So all of us feel we're missing something. But what we're learning today is not to take it out on anyone else. Remember, if you're feeling you're missing something, stop for a moment to remember the Creator already gave you everything. You've already got it. Just go out and continue on your spiritual path until you encounter the right form, the right home for you, the right job for you, the right people in your life, etc. Because there are people who match you more spiritually than other people. Doesn't make them good or bad. But they're the ones that will bring you lasting fulfillment and the ones that will just bring you temporary fulfillment. Whether it's person, place, or thing. So Kabbalistically, we're learning how to walk that path, that the universe will bring us the right thing, like Abraham. When he was ready, it showed up. When we're ready, it shows up. And I'm sure some of you already had experiences like that, where it just shows up out of nowhere because you're ready and it's ready. And that's where we want to go. So Bilam, feeling the lack, he wanted to curse the Israelites. But the lesson we learn is because the Israelites were happy. And remember, Israelite doesn't mean Jew, and it doesn't mean people living in Israel. It basically means you and I, the people who believe in the consciousness, mind over matter, that the spiritual energy is the source of all of our blessings, and we're here to be channels of that. So because the Israelites were happy with what they had, did it mean that they didn't want more? No, nothing wrong with wanting more. Because none of us, I believe, at this point have all 100%. So it's not a question of not wanting more, it's how we go about it. So because Bilam felt the lack, his negativity went out to the Israelites because they were happy with what they had and they were blessing each other, then they were protected from his evil eye. And guess what happened? It bounced back and hit him. And he ended up with a detriment, not the other people. Not the other people. This again is why the Rav always said it's the stupidest negativity there is. Because it does nothing but cause bad feelings for the person who's got that jealousy and envy. And that's where we go back. Thou don't covet doesn't mean you can't. It means it's kind of a stupid thing to do. Because you're not going to get what you have waiting for you. And you could be sending out bad energy, which is going to come back and hurt you also. So you're feeling lack and getting bad on top of it. Not for us. Not for us. We want to go for the good. We want to go for the good. And I'll tell you how far it goes. When a person's truly feeling that lack, I had a student years ago who was in a sales job and straight commission, right? Had manager who also got a piece of all the salespeople, right? What they sold. You're familiar with this, yes? So that means the more the salespeople sell, the more the managers get, right? It's the way it's supposed to go. This manager wasn't satisfied. This student started to do so well that they were making more money than the manager. But as they did well, the manager kept getting more and more. But the manager, again, not feeling satisfied, started to look, why are they making more? They're only the salesperson, I'm the manager. So even though the more the salesperson made, the more the manager was making, out came the jealousy, and it got to the point where they fired the salesperson, the student. You imagine? Now tell me, is that good for the manager or bad for the manager? Even in a simple physical level. They lose all the money that this person was making. Top salesman. The beauty is, the student kept the consciousness as we are learning, and you'll never guess what happened next. Found a better job, where people were happy that they were doing well, which would make sense to us. But that's sometimes how our negativity works. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So that's why we're here. Consciousness is everything. The more conscious we are, the more aware we are, the more we can fix it. So let's get to that. How do we fix it? What's the solution then for evil eye, for jealousy, and for envy? So the first thing is very simple, and we probably heard it a lot, but maybe now it means something a little different. Gratitude and thankfulness. When you're grateful for what you've got, you can make it grow. When you're thankful for the blessings in your life, you can make them expand. They will continue to grow, and what will happen? That veil that hides your good will start to disappear. And you'll start to see other things that are right in front of you, or you'll be guided down that path. Like Abraham was guided to find the cave of Machpelah, the entrance of the Garden of Eden, and he was able to make a deal with a person who owned it who didn't see the blessing. So then every day, take some time just to be grateful, to be thankful for your blessings, to be happy you've got what you want. You know, it's funny, I just saw somebody posted on Facebook. Thanksgiving. We just finished Thanksgiving, right? What's the whole idea of Thanksgiving? Be thankful for what you've got. So someone posts a picture of like the whole group, like, you know, Black Friday comes along and everybody rushing to the stores. Says, only in America will people trample over each other to get something before they get the day after we supposedly are thankful for everything we have. The paradox. So then every day we need to take time to just be thankful for what we've got. What's in our life, what's around us, the wisdom we have, the understanding we have, everything. In fact, I share often with students, make yourself a gratitude journal. Every day, write one or two things that you're grateful for. Some blessing that happened in the day. Because unfortunately, we're not even aware of the blessings. Ever had a near accident? Yeah, so in 1 second you go, oh, thank goodness. And then 5 seconds later, you're right back to, I got to get to work, I got to deal with this, or somebody still stopped in front of me. No, where's the continuation of that blessing? Where's the acknowledgement even the next day? Thank goodness you weren't in the accident yesterday, because now this day is filled with adding blessings and not taking care of getting the car and the insurance and the whatever else it was. It continues on also. The other thing, if we're beings of light, like we always speak about, then our job is to infuse what we've got with more and more light. Today you may say, well, I'm thankful for the things I have. But how much more thankful can we be? How much more light can we infuse in it? It's like a plant, right? You want your plant to keep growing, what do you have to do to it? You have to keep taking care of it. Water it, sun, right, nutrients, etc. And what happens? It keeps growing because it's not yet at its fullest either. So the same with us. You may say, well, I've got a lot of nice things in my life, etc. Yes, but they could bring you more happiness. Keep watering them with gratitude, with appreciation, with the light of the Creator infuse in it, and see how much more it can grow for you. Blessings. There's no end to those blessings until we've achieved our 100%. The other thing, and this may be harder for some of us, evil eye brings the person who's jealous and envious negativity, because it's going to go out and come back. So let's start projecting good eye. Happy with what you've got, feeling satisfied that the Creator gave you everything. Be pleasant on your path to achieve all of what's yours, and bless everybody else. Be happy for what other people have. Don't envy what they've got, because you also don't know if what they've got is making them happy or not. They may have something that initially looks like it's better than yours, but they could be miserable with it. I'm sure you have friends or you know people like that. They have all the physical things people say they could want to make them happy, and yet they're still miserable. They don't have peace of mind, they don't have good children, they don't have nice families, their business is bothering them, people trying to compete with it, whatever it is. They don't have peace of mind, but they got all the physicality. We don't want that. We want the physicality and the sense of peace and serenity. Because the Creator gave us everything. Our purpose is to have everything. But it's up to us, not God. For those of you who are new, that's something unique here. It's not up to God. It's up to us. We have to walk that path. And the last thing I want to share with you, and I know usually after these spiritual Sundays, a lot of you coming up and asking to tie it on, but red string. Red string. And again, it's not just Kabbalistic. Here in the center, I know a lot of people in a lot of cultures, people who come to the center and start to learn, they say, oh yeah, I remember my grandmother used to tie a red ribbon around the baby carriage, or they used to put some kind of red something at the doorway. Everybody's got something. Because as we started out this morning, Kabbalah is universal wisdom. And if it's universal, then over the years, over the millennium, every culture on earth has to have something similar. So you hear about evil eye, you hear about something red, you hear about these different things. Because yes, there's one universal system and we all take it our own way. Just like this. You're going to bless uniquely what's yours. I'm going to bless uniquely what's mine. We're going to look with good eye out at everybody else. Be happy for other people's good, and that will come back to us also. Our good will grow like a plant. Keep thinking of it. Grow, grow. So if you want a little more information, you can get that afterwards. I don't want to make this a class on red string, but it is about protection. And just you'll also understand briefly, it comes from the tomb of Rachel. It's just not string that we bought out of the store and we say, here, put it on. It's actually infused, if you will, with energy from the students or the teachers in Israel who go to the grave of Rachel, the matriarch, and you can read her story. Her story physically manifests good eye to its ultimate point. And that's why the Kabbalists say, use Rachel, the matriarch, for the red string to have protection against evil eye. Other Kabbalists have different types of energy for different things. But hers is protection from jealousy and envy. And so it's literally wrapped around her gravestone, and then it's distributed to the different centers, and whoever wants can have access to it. It's a spiritual filter of that negativity. Because like we made that one comment, all of us here and there spew out a little bit of jealousy and envy. It's natural. Like we said, with the job, the car, what have you. So it's out in the spiritual environment, and we want to be protected. So the string just draws the negative energy to itself, and it holds it till it's full, and then it breaks. And then you replace it, so that you can find more information or what have you. What I want to finish up with today, the way the world's going, we see that there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of jealousy and envy. Wars get started over jealousy and envy. I mean, hundreds of thousands, millions of people dying because of jealousy and envy, which starts with not feeling full. You and I today, I encourage us all, start to feel the fullness of the blessings the Creator gave you. Start working just to make it manifest. Start acting with good eye. See other people's good as good for them, because the Creator has something in store for you that will make you feel absolutely satiated and blissed out with your form of that same thing. Your right form of the job, of the people in your life, of the partners in your life, etc. So the more we will spread gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness, the more we will infuse everything around us and everyone with the light of the Creator, that they'll start to feel that same amount of thankfulness. Then we take away all the jealousy and envy. We take away all the taking and the getting and the greed and all of the negativity that takes place in order to feel satiated. And that's when, imagine you have 7 billion people walking around happy for other people's good. Wake up in the morning. The Kabbalists encourage us, the first thing we should do when we open our eyes is just be grateful. Number one, be grateful we're alive. And be grateful that we have an opportunity to manifest more good and to share more light and bring greater harmony and peace to the world. God bless.